how to generate leads using all of the stuff that you should know, but we're going to put it together in a way that hopefully makes sense for you in building a system. Today's event is built as a teaser for a deeper dive event that we're going to do, actually 6 webinars over the course of the next month. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that at the end. But this is an overview of everything that you need to know if you want to generate leads and close those leads better using marketing. Hey, so who is BusyWeb? What do we do? Well, we're a team of 10 to 15 folks that are absolutely brilliant in the digital marketing world. I have had the pleasure of working with BusyWeb since 1999, so we're working on 20 years. And we do all of the things that you see on the screen. We're agency certified partners with Google, HubSpot, Constant Contact, and a few others. And we have a whole bunch of folks that have more than 20 years in the business. We are experts in what we do, and that is why we can help you generate buzz and results. I'm going to go right into the agenda for today, and then we're going to take care of a couple of housekeeping items. First, what we're going to talk through today includes how to set up a buyer's journey and a persona, and how to create actions in your lead funnel that will generate buzz, interest, and results. We're going to talk about how to fill your funnel with marketing, things like advertising, email marketing, social media engagement, all of those engaging things inside of the buyer's journey to get people to the next step. And then we're going to show you how to close those people and get them to take some sort of a next action using landing pages and mobile responsive forms. We're going to go through email for marketing and sales, how to actively and proactively reach out to your audiences. And then we're going to go through some workflows to automate that marketing so that you don't have to do everything square one. You can invent the wheel once and let it roll down the hill for you to collect and engage your clients and leads to get you better results. And then we're going to go through some lead scoring, follow-up, and how to handle deals inside of the sales process. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I want to stop just a moment on our presentation here and share with you how you can ask questions in today's event. If you're watching from the embedded video, I'm going to ask you to do one more brief step. If you want to click and ask us questions during today's event, if you click on the YouTube Live Directly link that I've highlighted here, if you click on that, it's going to take you into this page. Actually, it's going to take you into this page. I will click on it, and then it'll take you to a spot that's going to help you generate questions. So inside of the chat window on this window, and you can scrub back and forth if you want to repeat something that I just said, or if you missed it, or if you have to step away from your desk, you can easily scrub back and forth in today's live event. And as soon as we are done with today's event, you'll actually be able to go back through and listen to the recording, and it'll be here in perpetuity. So if you do have a specific question, here's what I'd like you to do. Go into the chat window, and that is right below the video. It says top chat, and then under your account, it's going to say something, and you can ask a question here. So if you do have questions about lead generation, automation, tactics, anything that we're going to talk through today, that is how to do it, and I will be checking that occasionally during today's event. If we don't get a chance to connect and answer your question, I'll share with you how you can ask that question and have me get back to you at the end of today's event. So hold on to those questions, either submit them via the chat window in the YouTube Live window, or get back to me later. All right, so let's get into lead generation tactics. And the first thing that we want to talk through are buyer personas. I want to take a brief moment and mention every slide you're going to see today has an entire webinar behind it. So if you're struggling with any one of these areas and you feel like we're going too high level, we're going to do an entire hour-long seminar. And this is a paid seminar, and we'll share with you how to do that and how to subscribe to either any of these events or for all of them in one package and save 35%. So this is all high level today, but we're going to share with you and get you an idea of the system that you need in order to generate all of these results. So first, buyer personas. If you want to market to people, you have to know who you're marketing to. So who is that best customer for you? If you could get 10 more of this customer this year, what would that mean to your business? It would be transformative. Your favorite people that you work with, the clients that generate the most revenue for you, perhaps the ones that generate the least amount of support or are the smallest PITA clients, right? The least amount of pain in the butt. The folks that, if you could get more, again, would be transformative for your business. You're going to write up a generalized version of your top 3 or 4 best favorite customers. And you're going to write down demographics, where they live, what they do for a living, how old they are, any hobbies and interests that people like that tend to, or people like your favorite clients tend to be engaged in, how they tend to find you inside of their marketing. So do they respond to emails? Do they find you at events? Do they respond to Google or Facebook ads? And when they do search for you in Google, what do they type in that search bar in order to find you? And so you're actually going to come up with pain points that your best personas are connecting with. What do they need at that micro moment that they're engaged with you to take that next step? So you're going to play psychologist here a little bit, and you're going to get into your personas. And this Marketing Leslie is an example of one of BusyWeb's. She's female, 35 to 50 years old, and she lives in suburbs. She's really interested in marketing, but it's only part of her job, for example. And so she needs help to generate the business results that she's been tasked with in her organization. Marketing Leslie might search for inbound marketing help, or she might search for lead generation tactics in this case. So that is what we focus on, and we write all of our content and all of our posts and marketing around solving Leslie's needs. So once you have your persona, then it's time to think about the journey behind that persona. When your perfect client chooses to engage with you, what paths do they take when they're working with you? This is an example of the buyer's persona or the buyer's journey at the bottom. So people move from awareness, where they'll be engaged with you via word of mouth, online ads, email, blogs, pay-per-click advertising, to find out about you. After they move from awareness, they're going to start considering you and your business as a viable option for their business. So inside of consideration, they're probably going to look at reviews. They might go back to your blog, or again, connect with you over social advertising. So they'll see those ads and they'll be reminded, yes, this is a company that says they can do what I need them to do. So now I'm going to do more research around them. So that's your media, the things that you do. It might be white papers that you can provide. Then they, of course, ideally lead right into purchase. And for many of your customers, you're probably going to go through awareness, consideration, and purchase a number of times. It's going to be important to retain those customers and get them to do more with you. It's much easier to capture another sale from an existing client than it is to find a brand new client. So ways that you can deepen relationships, additional things that you can do, your knowledge base. If you have frequently asked questions, you know what your customers are already asking. Answer those in an easy to find spot. And then advocacy. You want to connect with people and give the people that love you already ways to share who you are and the opportunities. This is where you're getting leads from your customers. So whether it's promotions, your blog, where you're posting updates and asking people to share, social networks, where people are sharing things on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or your newsletter, where you're asking people to forward this to someone that's going to be interested. This is a great way to connect. And for example, if your marketing persona, if one of your personas is the CEO of a company, how are you going to encourage that person to invite another CEO to attend an event of yours? Or if you're a B2C company that does direct sales to consumers, how are you going to encourage your customers to share that purchase and encourage people to refer business, perhaps for a discount? So you've got your buyer's journey and you understand that pathway. Then you want to take the next steps into building a lead funnel. So we've identified our customer. We've figured out how we're going to engage with that customer at several different levels. Now we need to capture their information inside of our CRM. So you need a customer relationship management tool in order to effectively connect at different levels of the lead funnel. If you listened in last week to my CRM webinar, I told you a ton of different ways that you can grow your business using a great CRM. And incidentally, BusyWeb has a free CRM that you can use called HubSpot CRM that is just fantastic. And many, many, many of our clients are absolutely loving that tool to help automate some of this. To fill your lead funnel, you need to set landing pages and forms. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. You need to automate your responses and provide more value at each turn with your customers. So when someone does fill out a form or attend an event, purchase a product, you're going to send them maybe a coupon for an additional purchase or an invitation to another event or a white paper that backs up the content that you covered in your event. And if you've subscribed or connected with BusyWeb in the past, you probably see some of that at work because BusyWeb very much practices what we preach inside of our lead funnel and our marketing automation programs. You want to continually warm up your leads with relevant and helpful information. This is where a lot of customers of ours tend to get a little bit confused. And so it's important to make sure that if someone has engaged with you at a specific level, that you're sending them information that's in line with their expectations for what you've delivered for them so far. So if they download a white paper, which is about your product or service, or includes a bunch of tips for the main product that you engage your clients with, you don't want to spam them with a bunch of promotions, or you don't want to connect with them on things that don't matter at all to that person. So it's tempting to just send something to all of your clients every time. But the important part is if you're building your lead funnel correctly, you're engaging them just a little bit more and letting them optimize their own experience for you. So if they're interested in one thing that you do, you don't want to send them a number of other things that don't relate to that. You may want to give them additional options to cross-sell into your other products or services, but you don't want to hit them with all kinds of things that don't relate at all to what they do. Another bad example is if someone follows you on LinkedIn or Facebook and your posts on Facebook change to being either marketing or just kind of nonsensical. If you're just doing a bunch of happy-go-lucky kind of weird things on social media, or if they subscribe to your newsletter and you send them 7 emails over the course of that next week with buy now or special offers, that would be obviously a way to turn off that customer. So the key is to use your customer relationship management tool to keep in touch. And then your tool, if it's set up correctly or if it's a good one, will help score your leads for proper follow-up. So if they subscribe or if they download a specific white paper, they will go into an automation to support that action instead of just going back to the same thing and treating that customer the same as every other customer. So you've got your lead funnel. Next, you need to fill your funnel with qualified leads. This is where traditional marketing comes into play. So inside of your website, which is your foundation for everything that you do, you want to drive traffic to that funnel so that you have people in the funnel. So whether it's advertisements, and you can engage people appropriately with advertisements by making small and leveraged bets, being very careful with the topics or the keywords that you're advertising toward, and being very sensible in the next actions, the landing pages that you're driving people to. If you're advertising directly to your homepage, you're missing out on a ton of opportunity because your website isn't Where's Waldo. Your content should be an easy guide to take people through the process of getting to know you, getting to love you, and working with you. And if you advertise to the wrong spot, that's going to take the opposite effect. And they'll be annoyed by having to search all over your website, or more often than not, they just won't take that next step because none of us have time. And especially when you think about how things look on mobile devices, on little 4-inch screens, if you're browsing and people go to a landing page that's super slow, or that has big images, or asks for tons of information in a form, you're not likely to take that next step. You're just going to move on. Likewise with blogs, most of your blogs should be designed to engage and or inform your customers. About 50% of everything that you do inside of your marketing should be designed to engage, to capture people's attention inside of marketing. You also need to prove to them that you know what you're doing. And so providing informative content, or things that help provide more context or additional tools or ways to help, should be the next 30% of your marketing. And then the final 20% should be an action, a physical buy now, or an attend this event, or telling people what to do. And actually inside of every blog post, every ad, there should be a direct and distinct call to action. But sometimes your posts are just going to be about action. So 50% engage, 30% inform, 20% specific call to action. For optimization on search engines, of course, you need to have the right content on your website. So driving people to information by thinking like they think, and having answers to the questions that they're asking in search engines, and specifically matching those words inside of your searches, is going to drive people to your website when they're considering your service. So make sure that you take that step and build your website so that it's as findable as possible. And really the key behind SEO and all marketing in general is just to make sure that your website, your social media, your email, everything that you do is as useful as possible to your client. That's the entire point of inbound marketing, to be useful. And in exchange for those useful bits of information, to ask for a little bit of info from your clients or your prospects and leads, so that you can continue to help them a little bit more. And of course, email falls into that. You're going to have great subject lines, great connections, information that directly relates to their interests, and you're going to connect with them on a regular basis to add that content in there, short and sweet. I'm going to switch back 1 second just to make sure that we don't have any questions right now. Looks like we're good. So if you do have those questions, by all means, get a hold of us via the chat tool on Ask a Question here. But let's keep moving forward. All right, so you've filled your funnel. You know what you need to do by doing that fantastic marketing that we all know we need to do. Where does that marketing guide people to? Landing pages and forms. So for landing pages, you need to have one call to action per landing page. Your home page is not a landing page. Your home page is a directory service to get people to the information that they're looking for if they type your website address into their web browser. Most of the traffic that comes to your website should be direct results of the marketing campaigns that you're doing. You're going to have an advertisement that's going to drive people to your product or service and get them to fill out. In our case, on this page, this is the general Let's Get Started page, and there's a button at the top of BusyWeb's homepage, and it has a picture of one of our team members, the wonderful Jenna, waving you in to say, let's get started. So be clear, be concise on what you're asking people to do. If you note, and it's kind of hard to read this, but we're only asking for first, last name, email, where you work, your phone number so that we can get a hold of you, and then what you want help with. We're not asking for, what's your social security number, or what are the 5 things that we can help you with. You're trying to get people started on sharing. And once people take that first step, it gets much, much easier to take additional steps after you've taken the time to get to know your customer. And you can't know them unless they give you information. So that's what you want to focus on your landing pages. You want to capture the appropriate information on those forms. So again, only ask for the very basics. Keep it short and sweet. Multiple choice is much, much better than fill in the blank forms. And think about mobile devices. One of the big problems with fill in the blank forms is that it's hard to type on a phone. So asking for even one question where you're asking people to type it in, if they're filling it out on a form on a mobile device, the likelihood that they're going to take that step is very, very low. So don't think about how you can get all the information from your perspective as soon as possible. Think about how you can get someone to take that very first action inside of your business and then move on from there. So you've got them to that landing page. They've engaged with you that first time. Now you can continue to connect with them using email and automation. I'm going to talk about automation in my next slide. But when you're trying to connect with people via email, you need to make sure that you're capturing people's interests. And so it's very important inside of any email that first you treat it like a respectful piece of marketing. You don't want to spam people. The definition of spam is any email that's unwanted or irrelevant to the person that you're sending it to. So you want to capture people's interest with great subject lines. You want to keep it short and sweet, keep it action oriented, and tell people what to expect inside of that message. Great subject lines might include things like numerical scores or rankings, the top 3 things you need to know. They probably have some sort of an action associated with them. Register now for XYZ event. Or in this case, our busy news that came out just a couple of days ago talked about 10 reasons why user-centered design is better than traditional design. So there's a lot more in that. And we actually had some engaging and fun videos for our clients inside of that one newsletter. And I'll share with you how to do that if you haven't subscribed to our newsletter before. But there's all kinds of helpful and interesting content. And we take the time to share what that content is and capture their interest by telling them why they should care right inside the subject line. You want to be consistent with helpful information with emails that you send. If you're asking for additional information after that first engagement, you want to make sure, again, that you're only asking for the bare minimum that you want people to respond to. It might be great for you to have a 15-question form that includes 5 fill in the blanks. But if they can just click or do multiple choice on a number of different things, or if you can build your form to be conditionally formatted, and so only ask relevant questions based on what they want. So think about the context of each question. And there might be 2 or 3 ways that a client could ask one of those questions or answer one of those questions. And then you would only ask information relevant to that response. So are you interested in website design or marketing? And if you're interested in website design, what are the things that aren't working with your website? If you're interested in marketing, what kind of marketing do you already use? And so making sure that you're asking those questions for each of those customers that filled out that form, they're only answering 2 questions. But you have a number of different questions in your form. You're driving directly to the easiest possible result. Make sure that you're consistent, not only with your outreach, but also with follow-up. So you can automate some of this to automatically send a thank you when someone downloads a white paper and offer them additional steps. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in my next slide. You can use emails for customer service and engagement, and of course, to just retain customers. A lot of times people want to work with the people they already know and love, and that's you if you already have an existing customer. But if you don't share with them what else you can do for them, it makes it really hard to take that next step. So make sure that you, in a relevant, consistent, and respectful way, are sharing what those next steps can be. Automation workflows, as I've hinted to a few times, this is where it really gets magical for the marketer and for the sales team. You need to use marketing software if you're going to be serious about this, because there's so much that you can do inside of automation that if you're running your business off of Excel spreadsheets or just having a big pile of business cards, for example, you're missing out on a lot of opportunity. And in order to do these things, like sending relevant information or teasers or reminders, all of that takes a lot of time if you're doing it on a one-off basis or just going into your email and doing it. If you have marketing software, you set it up once and then it's taken care of for the rest of time. And then you can look at the analytics of each of these kinds of automations. And you might find that through the measurement of that tool, that people seem to drop off at a specific point in your automation process. And so take a deep dive and look at that and adjust your responses or your results or what you're asking. Maybe you're asking too much too soon. So think about what that is and base that. I'm going to talk about measurement in a little bit. The key inside of automation is it is really easy to set up, but it's also really easy to over communicate with your customers. So make sure you respect your user and only send them things that are relevant to what they're trying to accomplish. Based on what you do, you should have different contextual buckets inside of your automation workflows. And so if someone does, in this case, fill out a form for a user-centered design campaign that we engaged with a couple of weeks ago, then we're only going to send them to the right information to help them continue to go down the rabbit hole on finding more information about user-centered design. Add value with every single interaction. You might want to include a video on one message and then ask them to fill out a quick Q&A. And then at some point, people are going to get to the point. They've visited enough pages, they've downloaded enough tools, they may have downloaded enough things all at once that you're going to use lead scoring to know when to contact them. So your sales team will know based on scores, for anyone that has a score of 75 or higher, I need to call them today. They're engaged, they visited your website 3 times, they checked out your email, they responded, they've called you. That's going to be something that's going to indicate that you have a hot prospect. And so make sure that you're engaging with them as they are. And sometimes your leads aren't going to be that good. Maybe someone's going to just check out a webinar once in a while, or maybe they're just subscribed to your newsletter and they read about every 3rd newsletter, right? They open it about every 3rd time. Well, you want to engage appropriately with them and just keep engaging with them at the level they expect, which leads us into lead scoring. People want to connect with you, and what you need to do in order to respect both your time and their time and the sales team's time, you need to figure out the appropriate time and the appropriate way to follow up. Tools inside of HubSpot CRM and sales tools will automatically rank your leads based on the actions that they're taking. I know whenever someone visits the BusyWeb website, and I know what they're doing. Based on that, especially if they've filled out a form or have engaged with us at some point in the past, I know what they're interested in, why they're interested in it, ideally, and then when it's appropriate to take that next step. So you need to set tasks to follow up. CRM is crucial inside of here. You need a customer relationship management tool that can help you automate and capture all of those touch points. You can also set tasks inside of CRM. And so you can automatically set a task that when someone downloads a white paper, you're going to call them 3 days later. The key is you want to track all of this, and you can track your deals through the process in CRM and add additional information as necessary. With HubSpot CRM, you go from, like in our example, presentation scheduled to decision maker brought in or bought in. When you drag that from one level to the next, once you've had that next meeting, it'll automatically ask you for additional information. And so your sales team is only responsible for filling out the information that's relevant at that point in time. And or you're asking for and getting information filled in based on some of the automated tools. So maybe that person has filled out that form, that's automatically going to go in. And then your sales and operations teams are going to have everything that they need all in one spot. Once you've done all of this stuff, it's really important to measure to make sure that you're getting the results that you're looking for. Focus on measuring, because if you're not measuring, you're not marketing. Look at your website data. How many visits are you receiving to your website? What are the most popular pages? The graphic behind or on the left in this page, this is the lead flow analysis for an example site inside of Google Analytics. It will tell you what your most popular pages are and where people go after they visit those most popular pages. In our case, people visit the home page, and then from the home page, they go to about us, and then they go to our services, and then they tend to go through our portfolio or the what we've done section of our website. So this is all people in the consideration phase. And so we want to send them information or content that jives with what that activity or what that interest level is. Search engine optimization results inside of Google's webmaster tools, or the Google Search Console, as it's known now. You can see what pages are active, what keywords you're ranking for, what kind of traffic you're getting, how many people are visiting from mobile devices versus desktops or tablets. And then you know what kind of content and even what times of day or the week your content is most popular. Of course, if you have a time that is most popular for your customers, you should try to publish during that time frame, because that also increases the primacy. So if something was published just now, it's much more likely to show up on their social media feed or in their emails or wherever. When your customers are most active, you want to take advantage of that and send them things that are relevant and interesting. Advertising is a brilliant way to find out exactly what your customers are thinking, exactly when they are. SEO results takes a little bit of a lag time. It can take up to 6 months to really get ranks on your particular keywords. With advertising, you can do an A/B test and know the next day what your most popular headline is in your marketing programs. Social media will offer you similar insights. Always look at the return on investment for any engagement, as well as the return on effort, or ROE. If something that you do takes a lot of time to do, but pays off really well, that has a high ROE. If it takes you a ton of time and it doesn't really do anything, then your ROE is low, and you probably want to remove that or adjust it in your marketing. It's easy to get caught up in things that your team is doing, and to discount the time that your team is spending. If your sales team is spending a ton of time following up with leads by going through business cards or by going off of a Excel spreadsheet, and every time they open or connect with a new client, it takes them 5 minutes to update all of that contact information, that's too much time. That's why a CRM or other types of automation for your marketing can help dramatically decrease the amount of time that it takes your team to be more effective with your customers. Here's the goal. You want to focus on activity that gets results. Focusing through the results and using a tool to measure, track results, and show that ROI and ROE is going to get you to the next step in your sales process and help you close leads and deals much easier than ever before. If all of this has you interested and you want to talk more, we have a much deeper dive that we're going to go through over the next month or so. Register for our lead generation series to take a deep dive into each of the 6 main topics that I talked through today: building personas, creating your buyer's journey, landing pages and forms, email marketing and sales, creating your workflows for automation, and lead scoring, follow-up, and deals. Each of these is going to be approximately 1 hour long, and we're charging $35 each for those events. Or if you register for all 6, you'll save 35%. As well, if you register by April 7th, you're going to get an additional 10% discount. So I would encourage you to check this out if you're interested. You don't have to be available at the time that these are being published, but we are rolling them out on these dates. So April 19th is the Build Personas for Targeting event. That is the first one in the series. So if you want to just try one and just pay $34.99, you can do that. These are designed to be in-depth sales and enhancements for your marketing. These are going to be great tools for you to take and to keep improving your sales and marketing results. I'm really super proud about how this is working out. I'm so excited to roll this out to all of you and would love to have you all attend. So go ahead and please do register, ideally for the 6-episode series. And again, you will get an email with these as the events go live. You don't need to be in person in order to take that or in order to view each of these events, but they will be launched and emailed to you, processed live, but emailed to you so that you can watch the replay if you miss that live event over the course of the timing that we're putting forward. So, again, the first one is on April 19th, and would love to see you for Build Personas for Targeting. You're going to get an email if you registered for today's event. If you did not get, or if you didn't register for today's event and you just happened across this, the way to get a hold of this and to subscribe to that event is to go to busyweb.com/events and look for the Lead Generation Tactics Deep Dive seminar series in events. It starts next week, and we'd love to have you there. Let's also keep in touch. Text BUSY, BIZZY, to 22828 to get information about those upcoming events. You'll also get an email or a note from us about that upcoming series if you're interested. We pepper our content with helpful and informative educational opportunities to help you grow your business. And if you just want to ask a question, we didn't see any questions during today's event, but if you do have questions and if you're feeling shy, just send an email to me at dave@busyweb.com or drop a line to us at 612-4BUSY-O 424-9990. I'm Dave Meyer with BusyWeb. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Hope you got as much as I did out of today's event, and would love to help you generate more leads and get you to attend our next event. So we'll see you then. Until then, helping you generate buzz without getting stung. Have a great week.